This conference will now be recorded.
Well, we have a little bit of fun. Yeah. That's fun. We do that.
Which Medicaid something, it's something that,
There are lots of big notes on both.
Oh, Mayor?
Marshall motion.
I think he was going to do it remotely, but I'm not sure. I don't know.
No, Marshall.
We good to go? All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I will call this special session of the Sedalia City Council to order on January 27, 2025 at 12 p.m. This session has been convened specifically to address my objections to Bill number 2025-7. I thank you all for your attendance and dedication to this important matter for the city. Mr. Myers, would you go and please call the roll to ensure we have quorum?
Robinson?
Yes.
Oldham? Here. Marshall is absent. Bogus?
Here.
Hiller? Here. Cross? Here. Foster?
Here.
Bliss?
Here.
You have 7 present.
All right, thank you, and let the record reflect that quorum is present. As I mentioned at the outset, the purpose of this meeting is to address my objections to Bill number 2025-7, which proposed placing an 8-cent sales tax on the April ballot. In Missouri cities of the third class, a mayor may have veto proposed legislation passed by the city council by returning an approved bill without an signature and submitting written objections outlining the reasons for veto. Copies of my objections have been distributed to all members of the council for review. At this time, I hereby enter my written objections at large upon the journal of the council and will briefly summarize the objections for the record. One was concern about additional financial burden on the Sedalia's residents and businesses. 2 was the misrepresentation of the Washington Street Bridge project as justification for the tax, given that the project is already moving forward and additional funds will not expedite its completion. 3 was the importance of exploring alternative funding strategies before resorting to new taxes. These objections are now entered into the record and will guide our discussion moving forward. In accordance with Section 77270 RSMO, Bill number 2025-7 now stands reconsidered. Before I entertain a motion to go ahead and reconsider this bill, I would like to remind everyone of the rules of debate as outlined in Robert's Rules of Order. These principles are essential to ensuring that our discussion remains fair, productive, and respectful. Remarks must be directed at the chair, not individual members. This ensures that our discussion remains formal and focused on the issue at hand rather than on personal exchanges. Debate must be confined to the merits of the pending question. Please keep your remarks relevant to the matter we are considering, which in this case is the proposed veto override. Members must avoid personal attacks or questioning the motives of others. Debate should be focused on the substance of the issue, not on the character or intent of the individuals involved. Each member may speak twice to the same question on the same day, and their remarks should not exceed the time limit of 10 minutes, unless permission is granted by the group. The presiding officer has the responsibility to enforce decorum during the debate. As we engage in discussion, I kindly ask that everyone respect these guidelines to ensure an orderly and productive meeting. Let us work together to conduct our debate in a manner that upholds the principles of respect, clarity, and fairness. All right, with that, I will now entertain a motion regarding the veto. By law, the council shall now consider the question of whether the bill number 2025-7 shall pass, the objections of the mayor thereto notwithstanding. According to RSMO 77, a 2/3 majority of the full council is required to override the mayor's veto. To be clear, this means there must be at least 6 votes in favor of overriding the veto. If no motion to override is made, the veto will stand. Would any council member like to make this motion?
Yes.
I have a motion to, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion has been made and a second to override the mayor's veto of bill number 2025-7. The question before the council is, shall the bill pass, the objections of the mayor thereto notwithstanding? We'll now open up the floor for debate. Is there any member of the body that would like to speak in support or opposition to the question that is before the council?
Yes, I would like to speak.
Councilman Cross?
After giving this issue a lot of thought, I've decided to change my position on the proposed 1/8 cent sales tax. I initially supported it, but I'll be opposing it in today's veto override session. My primary reason for this shift is that the tax was presented as necessary for the Washington State Bridge project, but I've learned that the bridge is already moving forward. Adding more money won't speed up the construction, so the tax isn't needed for that purpose. I've also been listening to feedback from many of you in the Third Ward. A lot of people are concerned about the added financial burden this tax would bring, especially with the rising costs we've all facing. As your representative, I believe it's important to take those concerns seriously. We need to look for other ways to fund our city's needs without immediately turning to new taxes. I agree with Mayor Dawson that we should be more transparent about how we use public funds and explore different options before asking residents to pay more. For these reasons, I'm voting to support the mayor's veto. I encourage my fellow council members to join me in sustaining the veto so that we can work together on a solution that truly benefits our community. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else?
Yes. I, Tina Boggess, Second Ward City Council person. I am absolutely for this veto. I agree with Councilman Cross. I do not believe that this is the time or the reason for us to put this 1/8 cent on the ballot. Not only will it cost us to put it on the ballot, but then we're asking the individuals of our city to pay more money, and it's under the misconception of it will fix the bridge. It will not fix the bridge. We have other entities, other ways of fixing that bridge, and I'm 1,000% behind getting that bridge fixed in a timely manner so that it will be safety to all that use it.
Okay. Anyone else who would like to speak?
Anybody before me?
Please go ahead.
All right, Jack, you guys? Okay, so I want to address the second issue, first, or the bridge issue first. I apparently wasn't clear, and that's fine, but the current viaduct is an issue and it needs to be fixed as quickly as possible. But I really believe in this community, we need another viaduct or another way across the railroads east of that location, say from the current Washington Street Bridge to Engineer. But the first thing that has to happen is we have to have a feasibility study. The second thing that has to happen is we have to have the developing, we've got to get the people involved, the city, the county, the highway department, and the railroad. That feasibility study's got to, that's where I really saw the funds going, not for the current bridge situation. But that bridge was designed in 1911, completely repaired. It will not carry the loads of 2023. The entire east side, it's a second way, similar to the way we get across the railroads at 65 Highway, was developed on the east side of town. That entire east side of town would develop economically. In fact, we all know that a big portion of our overall strategic plan includes a lot of ground that's directly north, more directly north of Engineer and that part of town than it is, plus the airports out there. So I'll leave you, as I go through my last couple of months, I want to leave you with the vision. Number one, we certainly need to get the viaduct taken care of as quickly as we can. I personally don't think we've got enough money now pledged to get all that done. That's okay, it's going. But the other thing is, we could use that funding for, would be the feasibility studies and the development, of, eventually, in several years, the construction documents for a new viaduct. First off. So that's my first point. And really, I just kind of want to make sure that everybody understands that well, I don't need to do that. Let me get my last kind of points out. Remember when we went, we have 4 basic things that came from that ruling for the judge, and these do have to do with this override. We could present an 1/8 of a cent sales tax as an alternative to the citizens of Sedalia, and then they would vote for that and not vote for the 1/2 cent sales tax and have a 3/8 cent sales tax reduction. That really is what would happen if we placed this on the ballot. It'd have 2 options inside the city limits. Let me get this fit. I don't want to take very much time. Going back, the 4th issue that occurred from the lawsuit with the county, remember that the judge declared that the county is required to follow normal permitting procedures. We did gain access to the jail, and Chief Orrin has confirmed to me that planning with the Sedalia Fire and the Sheriff's Department has occurred to protect the people that are incarcerated in that jail. That's a tremendous safety issue that we did address. The judge did indicate in her ruling the county's actions withholding tax revenue was retaliation. Remember, they're the ones that put the check in the drawer to begin with. And finally, she ruled the ballot language from the renewal of the 1/2 cent sales tax in 2020 was such that the county could withhold the tax revenue from Sedalia. And I agree wholeheartedly with item number 3 on the letter that the mayor sent to us, that he strongly opposes the county's proposal for the renewal of the 1/2 cent sales tax while removing the sunset clause. And I think we need to continue to do that. And I worked with the county for a couple months trying to convince them to do just that, and I have not been successful. That deadline for submitting any change to their ballot language is tomorrow at 5 o'clock. They could still make a revision for that. And of course, with that 1/8 of a cent sales tax issue also as a possibility, we certainly wanted to use that to get them to consider making that change. I don't think that that's going to happen. So let me read my, in a nutshell, conclusion, see if that makes sense. In a nutshell, I think the best way for us to proceed is to end the lawsuit. It's just being used to drive a wedge between us and the people of Sedalia. We've got everything we need from the judgment. We literally got, I believe, 4 out of 4. This issue and the idea that the ballot language is too vague is really a win for us, not a loss. And that's primarily why we were looking for that, to continue that lawsuit. We can all join the debate about the approval of the current proposal of the 1/2 cent sales tax over the next month and let the voters decide. Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify. If we can, what will happen if that sales tax fails is the county will have to write another sales tax. The county won't fall apart. They will still receive the road and bridge tax revenue until September, and then they can put that issue back on the ballot next April. So that's certainly where I think we should go now, is point out to everyone, keep shining the light on this issue, and point out to everyone, all the residents of Pettis County, all the people of the incorporated parts of Pettis County, and all the people of the unincorporated parts of Pettis County, it's in all our best interest to not go forward with the current language of the road and bridge tax, especially because the sunset was taken off. We have all, as council people, had to deal with issues that were created by previous councils. I'm sure the commissioners have had to deal with issues, not Not that they didn't make a good decision at the time that they made it, but I'm convinced that the vague language of the current ballot issue with the county and the fact that they're taking the sunset off should result in the failure of that, because the people of Sedalia, the residents of Pettis County inside the city limits of Sedalia, have not received any benefit from that road and bridge tax for the last 3 years. So we've got to get that thing recognized. I do appreciate the county's positive direction that they've tried to take it, but I really think that, in a nutshell, that's the way we ought to proceed.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Bliss. Anyone else? Okay, having heard none, we'll move back. So the question before the council is, shall the bill pass, the objections of the mayor thereto notwithstanding? A yes vote in this instance would mean that the veto is overridden. A no vote would mean that the veto stands. Go ahead and now ask Clerk Myers to go ahead and call the roll for a vote.
Robinson?
No.
Oldham? No. Marshall is absent. August?
No.
Cross?
No.
Hiller?
No.
Foster?
No.
Bliss?
No.
You have 7 no and 1 absent.
Okay. With less than a two-thirds majority, the mayor's veto is sustained, and bill number 2025-7 does not become law. Thank you to the members of council for going in, meeting and deliberating on this matter. With no further business, I'll entertain a motion to move to closed session.
Motion to move to closed session.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any council discussion regarding that motion? Having heard none, roll call, please.
Robinson?
Yes.
Oldham?
Yes.
Marshall is absent. Bogus?
Yes.
Hiller?
Yes.
Cross?
Yes.
Foster?
Yes.
Bliss?
Yes.
This conference will now be recorded.
Are we back live? Okay, do I have a motion and second to return to open session?
So moved.
Second. A motion and second, roll call, please.
Robinson?
Yes.
Oldham? Yes. Marshall's absent. Bogus?
Yes.
Hiller?
Here.
Cross?
Here.
Foster?
Yes.
Bliss?
Yes.
Okay, do I have a motion and second to adjourn the open session?
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Meeting adjourned.
I want to thank everybody for your no vote, because I think it's very